What's up, Big?
What's up, Billy? How you doing, man?
Doing how about yourself, man?
Good, man. It's been a good week, brother.
That's good.
Yeah. To everyone that's viewing this now or in the future.
In the future.
So tonight's, today. Well, tonight.
Well,
Today.
tonight, depending on where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Night for
Today's topic
today.
is:
Yeah.
do modern women really want equality, or is it domination?
That's a
Should be
hell
an
of a topic right
it's a hell of a topic.
there. That's a
It
hell
should
of
be
a topic.
highly interesting, and we're gonna get into it. We want to hear what you guys got to say as well. All right, Billy.
All right. I like that. I like that little intro.
Yeah, you like that?
I love it, man. I love that
Yeah,
little
man.
just subtle.
That's how we do it, man. We got
Yeah.
things coming along 2 weeks in.
Hey. I mean, we're here for us. You and I enjoy this. This is what we're trying to do.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we're here for everybody. What I mean is we want people to be outspoken and comment and talk, but this is for you and I to get on here and talk and chat and, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna get some
I do want to bring one thing up real quick before we get into that.
Go ahead.
We got our first comment the other day on the video. And I appreciate that individual commenting and letting us, get some feedback. And I just want to say thank you for that. And
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. So that was first comment. It was nice to get a little comment.
Yeah.
And, I appreciated it. So
it was good.
Shout out. Appreciate it.
It's always good.
So go ahead, man. Let's lay it down. Let's go.
All right. So opening up, all over the internet, when we're up here, this is a different world than the actual earth, the internet, the internet sphere. And what's going on right now? It's so much going on with between relations of men and women, and the gender wars never seem to be over, in a sense. But what I really believe is that it's always the loud minority. So when we break into this conversation, primarily what we're going to be talking about is the loud minority, and we hope that the silent majority would get insight from our conversation here tonight and decide to start speaking up, because we have to realize our image is painted by the people that make the most noise. There's an old saying that always says, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
You know what's funny is not funny, but it's so I was listening to this while you're just talking now, and then earlier talking about the topic, and we've been talking all week about what we were going to discuss,
Right.
And when you get into not so much the squeaky wheel, because that's 100%. That's honestly when it's almost when someone bitches, that's what they get the attention they need, right?
Yeah.
But it's always the minority of a group that speaks for volumes of individuals that don't fully agree with that aspect, in my opinion, right? So I think that's a great point. Flow, because obviously this is it's a great topic, and I understand the headline can be taken however you like, but really there are a handful of people who are influential on topics, and then they get pulled in by, okay, well, that must be what everybody's thinking because so and so said so.
Right.
That's tough.
And that's part of what we're gonna address tonight is the loud minority, because there's still people that are on the fence, but sometimes they get directed by the loud minority because they feel like that's the norm, because that's what they hear the most of. Because, like I said, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So, for example, you hear a lot of women that talk about what they want in relationships, what they want in a man in a relationship, and a lot of it comes in with about his physical appearance, including things like height. It's got to be 6 foot. You hear that everywhere. It's got to be 6 foot.
Shoe size.
He gotta be 6 foot. He gotta make 6 figures minimum, you know, and some women say, six pack or, whatever else. But, it's
Let me just I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
interject just for a second because we've talked about having differences of opinions on things,
Yes.
and so this is where I wanna just thrust right into a difference of opinion. So before we get started on ladies, so what about men who have an ego or certain types or certain ways? Now I know what we're leading up to with certain women and the social media, the trend where I believe where we're going is where women have this thing where he got to make so much money, he's got to be so tall, he got to drive this, he got to provide for me. Well, where are the men that are outspoken saying, "Well, you got to be able to do this"?
We're gonna get to that.
Okay, all right, so I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah, you jumping the gun.
Keep on shooting. My
Jumping the
apologies, sir.
gun. No
My
problem.
apologies.
No problem. No,
I just wanna
because
make
that's
sure
a valid point to bring
I
up
want to be on
because
both sides of the
no,
fence here.
no,
So,
because
not
looking at
because
the
of the
title
public. I mean, truthfully, let's
no,
go.
looking at the title, it may feel like
Yeah, that's you.
that was me?
That's you. That was your little cousin. You got somebody. You got. I told
Oh,
you to pay the bill, man.
oh, I'm sorry, y'all. We gotta make sure everything is,
Oh,
okay.
you got some feedback for something?
I don't know. I
You
have
got
no
some
idea
volume
what
on
that
something?
was. I have no idea what that was. So,
All right. So
uh,
anyway, so get it. Just keep on rolling.
let's get right into it. So,
Yeah, let's go.
basically, you have these expectations from what
Mhm.
Imma call the modern Western woman, okay? And you know what I say? I think some of these expectations are legitimate from the makeup of women.
Really?
Yeah,
Makeup.
from the biologics of it. Typically, women are smaller,
Oh,
you know, but what I hear when I hear them saying these things, it's not that I want
let me pull this
equal.
closer so when I rebuttal, you can hear me.
So when I hear them saying these things, I don't hear, I want an equal because essentially they don't want equal. They always want someone that has more, typically. You want him to make more money, you want him to be bigger or taller, you know. You want it's natural for a woman to want to have security. I think that's a very, very, very natural thing. And I don't think anything's wrong with that at all. But the way it comes across sometimes, you know, it's a little bit rough. But what I hear
So
is
let me
that
ask you this. So are you
because they always
saying
say,
that?
"I want a leader." Go ahead.
So are you saying? Let's say, okay, let's say I want a woman who makes. Like you see me, right? You look at me, right? I mean,
Mm. Yeah.
my choices are well. I'm a sexy mofo. I'm sexy as hell. So I get that. And if you're not, I'm sorry. It's okay.
Right. Yeah,
Let me
apologize.
say this. All jokes aside. So what we're talking about is I just want to make sure. Let me ask you. So if a man wants a woman who's successful, making a certain amount of money.
We're gonna get to the men.
No, but I'm just trying to make sure.
Go ahead.
Look, I
Go
gotta
ahead.
juggle this back and forth. You know me,
I got you. I know.
I'm
I know.
moderating right now because not everybody knows you. So we have to,
I got you. Break it up,
I know
brother.
you 25 years.
Do your thing, man.
So so here's the thing. The other side though, let's say that the the young lady, because you put out the money, and I can know as a male, you may want somebody to make, have aspirations to make decent money so y'all will have a decent living.
Right.
But then you said height. You gotta be a certain size, certain height. You have a certain car. So do you feel, and I know we're gonna get into this, but I'm
Mhm.
I'm jumping the gun, but it's
It's
just
okay.
like it strikes me so odd that we're 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 that's where we are. And you know what? Here's the thing, just so y'all know. So what Big is suggesting is not for a blanket for women. There's a trend on social media that women that get on there, the minority. This is again what he was speaking about earlier. The minority
A
will go on
loud
social media.
minority.
Loud, that's absolutely right.
Right.
Loud minority will get on there and say, "Hey, he has to make this, he's got to have this, he's got to have this, he's got to have this. And I do get so I get that, but I'm just trying to moderate everything and become, the woosah of the everything, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead, man. Keep on getting it, man.
All right, so you go see you what you gonna end up doing is making me lose my train of thought at some point.
Well, no, you have that's the thing. When I speak, you just gotta ignore me for a minute and you gotta just
I
boom.
got
Go ahead, man. I'm
you.
not gonna cut you off again. I promise. Matter
Oh,
of
no,
fact,
no.
watch this.
When
Be
we
like,
get to a
hey,
certain point, I'll pause. I'll pause and wink or something. But
hey,
where
you can
where
hear me
where was
right
I?
now, right?
Say
You can
again.
hear me, right? You
I
can
can hear
hear
you.
me,
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear you now.
right? Because I cut it off so you could talk. Go ahead, man. Have at it, bro.
All right,
Go
so let
for
me
it. No,
try to
seriously,
remember.
it's important. I'm so what you were saying was, well, damn. You got me on the part where we're talking about women with height and the money thing was the first thing, then the height, cars, or you didn't get on if you got in the car, but you said height. So there was other aspects of that. So that's where I cut you off at. So go for it.
All right. Um, so those requirements are things I think are natural because women do seek security, right? So I get that. Um,
Okay.
no knock on that. None of that. But what I'm hearing is that instead of them saying the words that they're saying, I'm hearing that they're saying, I just want a man to dominate because they'll say, I want him to lead. But then you get feedback on that. I don't want to, if it's the right way, but they want someone that's far better than them, than someone that's their equal or even close. Now, like I said, this is the loud minority.
And I'm
What
with you. I got you.
Right. Now, what will be
You're
great.
saying the loud minority is saying that. So when I shake my head, no, you're talking about the minority of the loud individuals saying that. So
Right.
with you.
All right. So when that happens, some guys may become a little offended by that because they don't understand what they're saying. What they're saying, and this is my interpretation of what they're saying, is that they want someone that can totally 100% provide and take care of them. Okay. And what that means, you have women that are successful, and that's where the loud majority may come from. The loud minority. Some of them are really highly successful.
Okay.
So, looking for someone of that same ilk, they find that that man typically doesn't want their style of woman because they had to, in order for them to be who they are, they had to be a certain way. You know. Now you have successful women that can come home and be a wife, but what it means to be a wife is to be what I'm going to call the blood of the family. You know what I'm saying? Um, but what you never hear these women with this topic talk about what they want to bring and what type of environment that they want to create for their family, because that's what it's about. That is what will make the difference, and I think that's irregardless of how much money you make. I think if you put quality people together, then you'll end up with a quality result. But it's got to be bigger than how much you make, how tall you are, all of these things.
All right.
The
Well, let
thing
me ask you this.
Go for it.
So if it's a loud minority, why are we having this discussion
Because the loud minority is who's being heard.
on
The
social media?
majority we want hopefully this conversation will spark the majority to start speaking up because the image is being painted by the loud minority. In addition to that, men, one thing about women you got to understand, and I'm not saying I'm no super womanologist, but I do okay. I've done okay.
That's the other thing.
Um,
It kind of listen. It's just so you know, it's not mind blowing, but it's odd to me. And we've had these discussions before. That we sit here and we discuss women's thoughts or women's posts on social media as men. But again, I do see the same posts. I see, you know, and I'll be looking at stuff that I'm into, which sneakers or whatever, and it'll pop in
Still
with,
pops up.
pop in like
Yeah.
I sent you a thing the other day on this topic, just yesterday, I believe it was like where it was a cartoon drawing and it had like a male and female in bed and she was harping on the last guy she had, and then of course her car was a different guy. Now it's all the same guy in all the drawings,
Right.
but
You need to
everything
link if you could
was
link that in
I gotta
this
find that. And then there was another thing I sent you too, which was crazy, was the Tom and Jerry cartoon, which I don't know if it, here's the thing with today with AI and all the stuff that goes on. I don't know.
Mhm.
I can't tell you if it's authentic or not, but
Oh,
it's
no,
an old,
that is part of I know I've seen that cartoon.
so it's old. So
It's
here's the
old,
thing.
but it is a clip of a cartoon, a legitimate actual cartoon.
So, I'll post the link and then I will find that. And I don't know who the individual was who posted it, but I'll put a credit. I'll put the link in so you can go watch it from them. You can see it right from their post.
Right.
And obviously, uh, you know, Tom and Jerry go through some things with a female, and it's always the better option they take, regardless of the individual. And we're not talking about looks at that point. We're talking
Right.
about what they offer. And my man went and signed on a loan for a car and went and put on a foot
Oh,
leg,
it's hilarious.
he put on everything. And so I do get what you're saying. So
Right.
apparently, years ago, because that cartoon's been around for years,
Oh, that was before we were born, man.
that was the consensus years ago.
Mhm.
Think about that for a minute. It's not just you talking about this with me or me talking to you about this or us discussing this or both of
Right.
us having an opinion in this direction or not, because no one truly, we're just talking. But here's the thing, that was obviously the consensus a long time ago.
It's biologics, man.
So if someone had that consensus years ago,
Mhm.
and if a female jumps on that opportunity today to speak on it live on a feed somewhere on Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or wherever, then it pays homage back to that cartoon and says, "Hey, this is where we still are."
This
She's
is
just being outspoken about it,
he's being outspoken about it, right?
but the majority of the individuals aren't coming forward and saying, "Hey, I'm willing to pull this weight, or I'm willing to work at home, or I'm willing." Some of us can't do this, or even if their situation is where I have to be home because I'm not able to do that. They're not speaking up because of shame or getting shamed. Let me rephrase that. Getting shamed. Some people get treated a certain way and they just can't get out there and put their opinion out there. So he is right on that. The small minority portion of individuals speaking up on a topic. If you took everybody who was unable, can't. When I say unable from can't, there's two different things, in
Mhm.
my opinion. We could get into that later, but we will or won't, whatever. Um, you know, people who are married, whether it's male or female. Certain people stay home, some people don't. Some people, both parties go to work, whatever. But they don't speak up and tell their stories because there's so many of them.
That's right.
So when one person runs with it, you got people who just comment, "Oh yeah, you get it, girl," or "Yeah, you do this or that," or you tell them or whatever, and you get a handful of people behind it. Now, if you were to scroll your ass further down into the comment section, you'll get a few people, and if you ever notice, it's the ones who agree with the video are usually to the top of the comments.
Right.
It depends on what platform you're on, but it takes a little while to get down into the meat and potatoes of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but that's not what we do in my house. So there's all you have to get past those first, 10, 15. And here's the thing, if you're scrolling
Mhm.
the comments, and you just see the first little group, second group, move on to the next, you miss the meat and potatoes. Because that's
Right.
just the glaze or the gravy on top. You're not really getting down into the depths of what's going on, man. So
Right. And with that being the fact, because that's what it is. And the other there's 2 cats. There's Tom. If you ever seen Tom and Jerry, there's 2 cats. Tom's nemesis is a cat named Butch. Butch is better than Tom. Okay? in every way, except he's a jerk. He's a first class jerk. But
All right.
he's got more money. He's stronger. He's just better. He's just better than Tom. Tom is like your regular average Joe Blow guy, and Butch is your one percenter. Butch is your
1%.
1%er.
Okay.
And like Billy was talking about in that cartoon, Butch, Tom goes out, he signed his life away for this car. Butch comes up with this super stretch
Stretch limo. Yeah.
limo
Tom.
that crushes Tom's
He went and
car.
bought a Model T. He went and bought a Model T, and he gave his arm, his leg, $300 a month. And when this cartoon was filmed, $300 a month was probably, $1,500 a month today or something back then. So absolutely, yeah. And he pulls up in this long ride,
Super
and
long.
she's like, she's for him because of the car.
She's for him because of the ring too. They had to put on these.
Well, that was prior to the car episode,
Right,
or not episode,
right.
but the video, right?
So with that, guys, because Billy wanted to jump the gun, but let's get there now, guys.
Hey, whatever.
You okay? I know what that is. Okay, I know what that is. That was okay. Sorry, y'all.
This is what I'm dealing with right now.
I know, man. Look, we're trying to get this production
He's got
together,
so
y'all.
many things going on.
I
So
didn't
many
hear
things.
it. It happened.
We should call you Rick Rubin because you just sit in the studio and you got all this shit going on and whatever.
But check this out. So, guys, this should be when you hear this loud minority speaking, you still want to take heed to what's being said because they're saying it, but you've got to understand what they're saying. And this is a biologic thing pretty much for, I'm going to say, the majority of women, not from the aspect of all the specific things that they want, but what women want is security, protection, and they want to know, they want to have a safe place. Okay. So if you, as a guy, cannot provide that, then maybe you have more work to do. Maybe it's time if you really want to go the long haul with a woman and have children and have a family, you're gonna have to dig your heels in and you're gonna have to get to a certain level where you can do that. Because women don't want equality. I don't know if necessarily they want to be dominated as in the topic because we're having fun with that, but they do. But they do want a man that can control and can lead. And the equality conversation is not a real conversation. It's not. It's not a real conversation because
You don't think so?
It's not equality. They don't want equality.
You just said minority.
They don't want it.
But in the beginning, you said minority. It's a minority topic.
What I'm saying is, listen to me. The loud minority speaks specifically about 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack abs, whatever. They speak specifically about those things. There are other women that want more, want a man to provide more. He may just not have to make 6 figures.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate.
Listen to me. He may not have to be 6 foot tall. He may just, if she's 5'2", 5'8",
So
5'6", may be enough for her. But most women still want somebody that they feel safe under.
All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a minute.
Go for it.
I'm gonna rebuttal you.
Okay.
Now, so my understanding is, well, before I do that, let me ask you. So my understanding is that, let's say you have a particular woman you like, a structure, you like a certain size, certain weight, certain height, certain hair color. If you're attracted sexually or whatever, you may put that first, second. You may put what they're intellect.
I think sexual attraction is going to be the first thing.
Okay, all right. But
I mean,
let's say you work with somebody for 2 years, you never found them sexually attractive, and then all of a sudden you start liking them.
That's different. We're talking about if we're talking about that situation. That's a different situation because most of the time, if you're out and you don't know somebody, your personality doesn't matter.
You said your word always first. You said You might not have
Yes, I
found
mean,
her.
that's a different situation. You know that person. I mean, if we're talking about, I mean, this is a
That's
great
not fair.
topic.
That's
What you're
my point.
saying. No, no, no. What you're saying is a great point because when you get to know somebody, then who they are stands out than their necessarily their sexual appearance if you're attracted to that personality. But you don't know that when you don't know somebody. When you don't know somebody, when you're out and you guys are in a communal space where it's a concert, you're at a club, you know, you're at a outdoor event or something, or you're at a family gathering and somebody there you don't know, the first thing is not going to be her personality from a man. It's going to be, oh, she's cute. Oh, she's whatever. I'm just saying, it's natural. This is just
Okay.
the natural
I was
biologics
just
that we're
throwing.
talking about.
I'm like I said, devil's advocate. I was throwing the other.
Right. Now, if you're
You went.
working with somebody, that's different because you can definitely
You
find
went
attract.
into depth on. I was just saying that when you said it's always that, I was just telling you that it's not
I'm
always
talking
that.
about from someone you don't know. I'm not talking about when you get to know someone and you find out who they are. Those are completely different
You're talking about
situations
on the
than
spot. You see somebody, you're either attracted to it or you're not. Boom.
off the bat, kinda, yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
so a male may have, in your opinion, you're saying may have like the looks, whatever. You're not even concerned with her wealth, what she does for a living, what she's driving, what none of that. But then you're
Most
saying you got
most
the
most
silent
guys most guys are not that's not a part of what attracts them to
right.
a
So the
woman.
silent majority who aren't speaking up, you got the minority of a few women who come online
Mhm.
and say, "I need this, 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 and this," when there's hardly any men who fit every category. One may be Rick Ross weight, but have all the money, and he's
Right,
driving a Rolls Royce, or he may be my weight with a little bit of money, but he's smart as hell. Or I'm not me, but I'm
right,
saying in
right.
so
No, I got what you're saying.
yeah, they're you're saying they're looking for tic tac toe, not just
The
a
loud
stick or
majority
tac,
is looking
not
for
tic
that,
tac toe.
but
Right.
every woman women have lists, okay?
But you can't speak to
Women
that. How can you say every
dude,
woman?
I'm not saying every, but a large majority have something that they want, but it doesn't have to be those same things from the loud majority. Women do have lists, dude. I mean, believe
Loud
it or not.
minority. You mean loud minority? Loud minority.
The loud
Not
minority,
majority.
right.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying the requirements are not the same, but there are things that they want. You know, some women, it means something if a man is a gentleman. If he's gonna open her door, that means something. That may be something on her list.
Okay.
Some women don't care. I can you don't have to touch my door. I can open my own door. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. No, I'm just being for real.
Nah,
There's
dude, dog,
certain things,
I feel you, man.
you know, some women they don't ever want to pay when they go out. Right? Don't ever, like ever,
You
don't
see
ever
you
ask
see,
me to
that
pay.
just tells me that you have a very large plethora of experience in these things.
I
That's where
do.
it comes down to.
Listen, check it out.
That's
There's some women
or you
that
have a
will
lot of female
honestly
friends, so you can speak on that.
right, so you're playing that game. But some of them will honestly want to contribute in every situation.
Okay.
They don't wanna and that's why I'm saying the basically the value in this conversation or part of the value in this conversation is that you've really gotta have conversations because you can have something that is just beautiful or something that is really handsome that fits your look profile, but it's awful to you or awful for you, is the type of person that could have you in the poorhouse because you still want to please them. And that can go either way, man or women. Um, or someone
Okay.
that just you love to look at, but they don't treat you very well. I'm just saying. I mean, so you know,
When you say they don't treat you well, what do you mean? Like they don't give you no booty if you bought them dinner?
no, what I'm saying, I'm saying if you're in a relationship, uh,
What's the thumb down shit? What is
I
that?
saw that. I don't know where that came from. Where did that come from?
And
Did you do that?
I don't know, maybe I'm just asking, like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Some whoever is here, appreciate you, thank you. The individuals,
Yeah,
listen,
whoever gave it a
instead
thumbs
of
down.
putting a thumbs down, do me a favor, just comment what you were thinking right then when you did
Right,
thumbs down,
at that
please.
moment.
I would
And
love
you
to
can
know
put
what your thought was right in that phrase.
And look at this timer. It's like at the 29-minute mark. So put that in because we
Yeah.
would love to know.
And we get ready. We're gonna wrap this up soon. So I well, I guess maybe Big's got some more. But here's the thing with Big. Big's got a lot of insight on these type of topics. So, he's got I mean,
I
you
mean,
said
look,
earlier on the show
I get called for a lot of relational help. Uh, yeah, I hear a lot, and the conversations are pretty much the same based on gender. Um, and that's just what it is. We have to start to understand what the biologics are for men, and we're talking about heterosexual because I don't know the any of the other stuff, but I would probably say it's about the same with whoever's the masculine and whoever's the feminine. It's probably the traits are pretty much consistent.
I w I
We just
would
have to
venture out to
understand.
say that if you're, lesbian or if you're gay or if you're, transgender, I would believe that, people have a tendency to gravitate to an individual they're attracted to, like you said off the bat, how you feel.
Right.
Obviously, we'd have to, get different opinions on that, people on to talk about that live, but I would tend to think that, people in general have those feelings. But when the individual steps back from those feelings and says, "Well, you've got to have this height, and you've got to have this car, you've got to have this amount of money, you've got to have this job, you've got to have this home, you've got to live near here." Those things I can see where you're coming from can be an issue. But again, I want to stress that I do believe that that's not just a female issue. I think that there are
No, no, no,
men.
I didn't say that.
No, I didn't I know you I'm telling you, I'm just
Okay,
how
okay.
I'm saying in general. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that I think it's a minority group from both sides. Now, I will agree with you that when I'm looking online, I do see the accounts that post that, and it's typically a female account. So
Right, the
now,
list,
but
right,
but who is the individual actually posting that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't get into the depths of that. I don't get into the
right.
weeds. I just scroll right on by it. So, but I do understand what you're saying.
I
You know,
just think for people to essentially be, like, happier, um, for what they're looking for in a partner, um, I would say understand what the just biologically what the other gender is looking for en masse. You've got exceptions in every category, race, gender, creed, all of that. But I'm just going to tell you, gentlemen, if you and I'm not saying you can't have a woman that makes more money than you. What I'm saying is your chances are better with a woman that makes less than you because that is what she's gonna need to feel safe. That's just what it is. That's what she's gonna need. Um, in most cases,
I mean, that's
'cause we're
about okay.
talking
Yeah,
we're talking about the majority of situations, but we're responding to the loud minority.
minority. This is when I wish we had someone on fire dial. I know speed dial, fire dial, and we could get them
Right.
on. And I'm talking about 3 or 4. This is a hope. I hope eventually we get to that.
We
Well, we
will.
will eventually. We will. It's gonna take some time, and I know some people like shorter videos, some people like longer videos. Shout out
Right.
to the last comment, but that that individual we can pop on, give your opinion because every person you talk to is going to have a different opinion on that topic,
Absolutely.
and that's the beauty of it. Everybody has a different view, different topic in their mind, not topic, but a thought on the topic. So
Mhm.
and that's going to be great when we do get to that point where we've got several people in here. We can just pop somebody in and boom, we can move from there. So,
I agree. I agree. But I would just say for the guys, just remember that. Just understand. And I'm gonna tell you something too, guys. You're gonna be way more successful with a woman that really likes you than a woman that you really like.
Yeah,
I'm
but if he's got abs and a nice car and good money and a nice
he'll
house, then
he'll
like,
look, he'll have her
it
for a
is
period. He'll have her for a period of time,
but she might really like him
she
for
may
that
grow
reason.
into it, she might grow into it, but I'm just telling you,
Okay.
you have a better opportunity as a man because women
Are you saying at one point you had a six-pack of abs?
never had a six-pack. I mean, there I was thinner in life, but I never focused that hard on the core
Big
reason.
sexy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hear you, man. Well, I mean, if take heat it, take it, leave it,
I
heed the
just think
advice.
I think the conversation is more so for the outcome, the available outcome for successful relationships. And I'm gonna tell you something too. This is another thing. Let me just say this, Billy, because this comes off. If you got a guy
Go
now,
for it.
they talk all this sugar honey iced tea. I'm gonna call it that. I try to keep it clean. But if you want a man that has all these things that are on your list, then you need to understand when you say I do, that means you're gonna provide a safe place for him, a comfortable place for him, somewhere for him and his family. And you got to remember, and I'm gonna say this: most men, when they marry you, you're supposed to take that man's name. That's a new family. I'm sure your dad is an awesome guy. He'll always be remembered. But when you say I do to that man, there ain't no hyphens. That's disrespectful in a lot of ways. Now I'm not saying we
I
got to
disagree.
look.
Disagree.
That's great. You disagree. That's great.
I disagree. I disagree 100%.
That's great that you disagree.
Let me
But
ask you,
go ahead. I'm a traditionalist, man. I'm gasoline. I'm not uh electric car.
shit, I'm gasoline. I can promise you that. I can show you my last 3 fill-ups.
All right.
But let me ask you this. So
Mm.
I have to disagree on the name thing. Are you saying, and this is an opinion, you're traditionalist, right? So is it submissive for a man to take the woman's name?
For the man, it's absolutely.
Okay. Number 2, let's say the
He's
woman.
making the kids. He's making the kids. She's baking the kids.
Okay. So number 2, let me ask you this way. If a woman has a child under a previous name and gets married, what's wrong with the hyphen?
That's a
That way
different
that she
situation.
gets
We're talking. I mean, that's a different situation.
you said all
If
together.
a
I'm
kid,
just trying to clarify.
no, no. If a kid, that's their name. Because I feel like every child should have their father's name
Right. So if the
if
woman
he's
getting
worthy.
married, if the woman getting well, I mean that's who they are. You just said in the marriage, the man takes the woman's name. How are they not worthy if
No, no,
that's
I said the
automatic?
woman takes the man's name.
Right. But so how's that? It doesn't matter if he's worthy or not. If it's a father, that's what I'm getting at.
No, no, no.
Apparently, if she
Listen,
left him or
listen.
she's
No,
single
no,
parent and she gets remarried,
no,
then
no,
he
no.
wasn't worth
Li-
shit at some point.
listen, Linda. Listen.
Where the
You
hell is
said
Linda?
if she had a kid
Hold on.
and then
Who the
she
hell is
married somebody
wait,
else.
who the hell is Linda?
Oh, you haven't seen the little meme with the kid? He's like,
Are you
never.
calling me a fucking Karen?
No, I'm not.
Okay,
You
well,
have to
go ahead.
see. I'll send
Yeah,
you this.
but hold on. But I heard your side. You said that if they take a hyphen, that's BS, basically. That they need to go with the
But
last
you
name of the
said we
man.
weren't talking about women bringing other children into a
Oh,
relationship until you
oh,
just brought
again,
that up.
people are watching us, so we have to make sure that we cover the bases. Because here's the thing: this is the great point. In your opinion, you don't agree fully with your statement.
What do you mean?
A woman doesn't always have to take the man's name; it can hyphenate. You agree with that to a
I
point.
don't. I thought you were saying about the kid.
To a point. That's my point. To a point. If they have a child and they have the father's last name, you said, well, if the father's a good father. Well, you just told me that all women should take the men's last name.
The name of her husband.
Okay. Then, okay.
Yeah.
So when she gets
As
married
far as
again,
I'm concerned,
like,
and as far, there gonna be some guys that's gonna be like, oh, this and that, blah blah, whatever. But it's to me that's kind of like the equality thing, which is never equal. It's never equal.
I mean,
They
it's
don't
never
want
equal.
equality.
Yeah.
They don't want equality.
Yeah, but I wouldn't agree with dominance. I would agree with dominance. I don't agree with that.
When I hear the loud minority, they wanna be dominated.
Okay, well, that's okay.
They
That's a
wanna be dominated. That's all I hear. 'Cause they want a man. I want him to lead. He gotta have this. He gotta this. They didn't wanna be done. They want some caveman lashing, hair grabbing, dragging in the cave. That's what they want.
sounds like to me. You need to stay your ass off social media.
I'm just look, hey brother, I'm
I'm
just
just telling you, man. You
I'm
got to
just
stop
having a
looking at the accounts
conversation.
that are minority and
Say
start
again?
looking at some wholesome accounts and stop looking at them accounts that are minority.
It pops up on my stuff, man. I
You
mean,
got to get it, but you got to put on there. You got to click them little three buttons and say not relevant. I don't like this. I don't care to watch this.
it
Get
don't bo
rid of
it
them
don't bother
minority.
me because I know who I deal with and who I want.
Remember, okay, well that's true too. So that's why we're having the topic in the conversation.
Right.
So again, the again, we him and I can go
Yeah.
back and forth, but we're getting back to the loud minority. At the end of the day, we can
End of
have
the day.
different of opinion. We can argue about who should do what, but we're talking about on social media mainly, and the topic doesn't always give the full because you can only put so much stuff in there. But on social media, especially, right?
Mhm.
You would agree with that. That a lot of women, and they have real accounts. I mean, you can go in there and see who they are and what they're doing. I shouldn't say a lot of women. The accounts that comment this way are typically the women. How about that? I word it that way.
Right.
And
You
they
don't do
say
that
these
no more.
things and they come up in his feed.
And they come in your feed too.
But when you send them to me, yes. So they come up in my feed, his feed, whoever's feed,
Right.
and you see these little memes and different things. And of course, going back to a great point to cover what what the heart of what you're getting at, the Tom and Jerry cartoon.
The Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Just bring it home to that
Butchering it.
because that was before you and I probably were even born.
It was.
Oh, okay, I don't know for facts on that, but I just can tell you it's
It was.
probably.
Yeah.
So, if that was the intentions of that cartoon way before us, and we're talking about almost 50 years later,
Oh,
then guess what?
more than 50
No, no,
years.
no, I'm talking about we're talking 50 years later, even after the cartoon was out,
Right.
just life
Mhm.
for us, then naturally there's something going on. That was and social media wasn't around back then. Let me just remind people who don't know. There's there was the narrative that was being driven. And I think what Big is getting at here is that if that narrative is being driven back then, you had a chance to stomp that out. But you have a minority who continue to drive that narrative home.
Loud.
Stop doing it. Get off of that. Is that what I think that's what you're trying to get at?
No,
Stop letting the other generations of individuals watch you and feel like, hey, they have to have this, they have to have that because you're setting a precedent for something that they can't achieve.
no. It can be
Okay, wait,
achieved.
go clarify.
No, let me clarify. So it
So
can
they
be
can't
achieved.
achieve abs and they can't
My
achieve a car and they can't achieve them house and the money. So you're saying they can't achieve it? That's what I'm talking about.
right, but what I'm saying is the
I'm saying right?
message
I'm asking.
essentially, the message is for men to understand the biologics of women, most women, even the quiet majority. They still want to be protected and comforted. All that's a natural thing for women to want. It's
Yeah,
a
but see, most
natural
of the women
thing.
I know will kick your ass and don't they're independent. And goes back to we talked about before about the household and the mother father thing. Most women in my life have been independent and don't need you for shit and will tell you to scrape off. And
Yeah,
I'm okay with
and
that.
that's the
But I'm
breakdown
okay
of our society
well
right
that's
there.
but that's the thing. So at what point did society teach us that women should be a certain way, or did God tell you women should be a certain way?
Well, you know God does. God said
Okay.
it, but nobody's listening, it seems like.
Well, I mean, if someone's commenting that they want a certain man, and they want a certain way, and they want a certain car, and they want a certain house, then obviously they haven't given any respect or thoughts to the individual. They just know what they want on a sheet of paper. Oh, like a resume. You got to
Right.
have this resume, right? I'm not hiring you unless you're providing these features.
Well, let me say
So,
this. There is clearly this is what's going out the window. Okay. People want to pair up, but as far as the internet goes, you see out there as well. In that world, I told you this internet world is not the real world, it's the internet world. And the no gender roles. Okay. You see that. But there are gender roles. And there's a
you know,
need for them.
where do you get that from?
You've never seen that?
No. What do you mean no gender role? I mean, I'm just saying if people are rolling. Here's the thing: if somebody is in their freaking house and they're rolling along and they're happy, who gives a shit? Who's the
Well,
alpha? If
listen,
I have to step up and be the alpha, I'll tell the mother flower that look here's the deal. Okay,
I mean,
but
that's
if they're
I
not
hear what you're
needed,
saying. That's great.
it's
That's
almost like
great.
I'm like a bear or a wolf. I don't come alive unless the cubs are getting fucked with. So I disagree. I don't fully get
I
the
understand that.
live differently than you do on that aspect.
No, you don't, because I wake up too. I'm very, very awake and aware if
I got you. Yeah,
something
that's
is
not what I
going
didn't
on.
mean it that was a little drastic maybe, but what I'm in a nutshell, what I meant was I don't come to life unless it's needed to come to life. I don't have to set no ground rules because the women
It's
in
not
my life
about
have always
see,
been independent.
well, I understand that, and that's great. That's
And I
great.
mean siblings, I mean family, mothers, all I mean, talking about the
All
whole
all
clan,
that's
the whole
great if you got a guy that wants to deal with it.
that's me.
That's
Yeah.
great, and that's what all I'm saying is pick your right partner.
When you say
Pick
deal with,
your right
that's what
partner.
deal with what am I dealing with?
What do you mean?
But that's I don't have a when you said if you wanna deal with it.
With
So
some
let's
of the
break that
things there
down.
was some of the things that come along with the
Letting the woman dominate.
say again?
Letting the woman dominate? Or you mean the male not dominating 24/7? Which where you I'm gonna clarify this
It's not
for the
about
audience.
we're not it's not about dominating at this point in the conversation. It's about people doing what's required, and I've always said this is one thing I've always said. Every couple has their creates their own rules, but they're still gender roles. I mean, think about it. Let's talk majority. If you wake up in the morning, both
Okay.
y'all running out, gotta go to work.
Alright.
Come out there, wife's tires going flat. What's the percentage of women that's gonna be like, I'm gonna change my own tire. Don't worry about that.
Well, that's the thing, every woman I've been around's done it. And I swear to you on that.
Was a man there?
Yeah.
So a man was there, they had a husband or a significant other,
Mhm.
they go out for work, their tire is flat, and they go out there and change the tire.
I got this. Mhm.
Okay,
Alright.
good.
I'm just telling you, so
I mean, I think that's fine and that's great. But I know for me, if I'm coming out, nah, my wife she ain't changing the tire. I'm just saying.
but that's not a bad thing either. I understand that. That's what but, let me ask you this, are you assuming that role, or does that individual know that you assume that role? Is that what
I
you're
think
getting
that
at when you say gender?
these conversations are, I mean, people need to sit down and talk. That's the problem. Why so many of these relationships break down is because people don't talk.
Let me ask
There's
you
a
this.
lot of assumptions. Go
Do
ahead.
you think a woman shouldn't change a tire
I
if
didn't
it's
say
flat?
that. I
I'm
think
asking.
let me ask you this. This is what I think. If a man is there and that's her man, then
Mhm.
why is she changing the tire?
So you're putting gender roles in place.
He's stronger in most cases. He's bigger in most cases. He's more capable in most cases. He knows where the jack points are
So do you
in
give
most
her the
cases.
opportunity, or do you just cut her off and say, "Get out the way. I got this. I'm the
Are we talking about me or are we talking
I'm"
about most guys? Because I don't know. Some of
no, I
these
mean, in general, I'm not talking about you.
in general, dude,
We're not
my woman's
discussing
not
you.
changing a tire from there. It is
Uh,
no way
are you
that
saying
she's
because
gonna
she can
change
or
the
because you
tire.
don't want her to? That's what I'm trying to find out right there.
Maybe she can. I'll
And
teach her.
but
But
you don't
while
want her.
I'm doing it, I'll say, watch this. If you're ever alone and I'm not there and this is an emergency, then
So do
you're
you
gonna
already
have to know how to do this.
okay, so you already assume she can't. That's my point.
I'm not assuming she can't. I'm assuming that she will not in my presence.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not
We just
changing tires,
that
dude.
goes
I'm
to a
not gonna
different
stand around and watch my woman change a tire and I'm right there. Now, unless she says, "Look, I wanna do this because I may have to do it when I'm
when
by
she's
myself."
alone.
If she says that, I'll be right there and I'll walk her through the entire thing. But I don't know too many women that wouldn't want me to change that tire. That's just me. I don't know these Shiras that you talk of, that you speak of, sir.
Zenas. Oh, get it right
Zenas,
now.
whoever.
Zenas. Yeah.
Shira was a Shira was
A
a
oh, a fucking beast.
yeah.
That's He-Man's
Yeah,
sister.
but I mean, no, I'm not
That's
doing that.
Adora.
And you know what? I'll take the title or whatever. I'm call me misogynist because I won't let my woman change her own tire and I'm standing right there. That's just like
Okay,
that's just like for instance,
think we're
if we
getting
go
off.
get gas, if we go get gas, she's not pumping gas. It's not
Yeah.
gonna
That
happen.
that seems like either a flex or something that you have a priority to take care of.
The type of women that I like don't want to pump gas. They pump gas because they have
Personal.
to pump
Maybe
gas.
you need to adjust that.
Maybe not. I know what I like.
So you don't mind that.
I
You don't
think
mind her sticking her ass in
I'm
the car and you
fairly
pumping her.
aware of what I
Alright.
like.
Alright. Well, hey,
I
you
don't want
like
no
it.
chick that can lift my the rear bumper up and hold it up for me while I'm
But see,
changing the tire.
here's the thing. When you've got mental or physical issues, you may need someone who can handle that. So,
That's different.
it's not
We're talking about
but
healthy
you're not
man,
gonna give someone a
healthy
chance
woman.
based on your thought process is what I'm getting at.
What?
Based on the thought process of what you just told me. You want her to stay in the car when you pump gas. If she's in your presence, you wanna
I
make
didn't
sure
say
you
she
can't.
had to stay in the car.
Okay, well, not pump the gas. How about that? You don't want her to pump the
Yeah.
gas, but you don't want her to change a
Women that I
tire if
like
you're there either.
don't really like pumping gas.
Hold on. What if someone is okay? I know you're gonna rebuttal is gonna be, well, that's a different story. I'm telling you, not everyone wants to be coddled. You just in
That's
the beginning of
fine,
this
and
episode.
you know what? I have enough assurity of what I like and what I want and who doesn't fit me to let them go their way and I'll go
Go
mine.
your way, right? Exactly. But in the
And
beginning, we talked
that's
about
what I'm
the
telling people is
minority.
figure out what you like and what fits in your life. If
We
it
talked
doesn't,
about the
let
minority.
them go.
Loud. Are you the loud minority?
I don't know anymore because I see guys sitting back with their chair leaned back and the chicks out pumping gas. So I can't say I don't know about this generation.
Exactly. Maybe she wants to pump her fucking gas, and she don't need
Right.
your ass to get out the car to pump her gas. That's my point. We live in a time, in my opinion, we live in a time where equality, we just discussed that.
Which is a fake thing, but go ahead.
It's so you think it's fake.
It's not real.
Not if I let her get the fuck out and pump the gas. It ain't fake. That's not fake. Because now
That
she's
ain't got
pumping
nothing to do
gas
with
like I.
equality.
All right. So if she changes the damn tire and I change the tire, we both changing tires, that's equality. You're treating everybody equal. Now, if she says to you, hey, I can't get this off, you're stronger than me, we're not saying that the person doesn't understand or
So
acknowledge
therefore, it's not
your
equal.
manly
So
hood.
therefore, it's not equal. We're equal as humans. We are not equal in our biologics.
Okay, but in a relationship, that doesn't mean you have to be fighting with one another based
Wow,
on your biologics.
it's not a fight. Why would if I
Dog,
could
do you do dishes?
absolutely.
Okay. Why?
I'm sorry?
Why?
Why what?
Why do you do dishes?
You said, can I?
Do you do dishes?
I do, but when I was in a relationship, I did very little dishes because that ain't why am I doing that? I mean, I'm being serious. I mean, look, I cut the
We're
grass,
not gonna agree at all on
I
this
service the
topic.
car, I keep gas in the car, I pay the bills.
So she kicked it to you and said, "Hey, this week I'm gonna go." You wait a minute. All right. We're getting too far into
You're
the
doing too
topic of the
personal.
minority here. We're
Well,
still trying
you get
because
too
now at this
personal.
point you may very well be the minority, but you don't know because enough people aren't speaking up on the topic. of the women, the individuals who claim to
Well, this
want
is the thing. The loud majority is gonna have the
loud minority.
the loud minority is gonna have the quiet majority doing things they don't wanna do because they're not speaking up. And some of these guys are just sick of hearing from the loud minority. They're sick of it. Because that's where if you look up now, there's something called the soft guy era. It's a joke. It's completely a joke.
See, how
It
do you get
takes
exposed to this shit? Because I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
I know, I know.
That's what I'm saying. So when you're getting exposed to this,
So let me say this. So there's this chick out there
because
that
I could
will
give
say
a shit.
stuff. She's always trying to like show women how to trick men to use them. And she always say, she'll say, sprinkle, sprinkle. That's her little thing, right? So guys have come back because girls said, oh, they're in this soft girl era, right? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the guys have come out and it's strictly jokes, but they take all of the things that they've heard women say in this crazy world called the internet. And then at the end, they'll say drizzle, drizzle. They was like, I can't believe I broke up with my girl because she called me and I told her I wanted these rims and she didn't send me no money. So, because these are the commentary that you get from women say, oh, yeah, I could talk to my man and I told him about this person I like and he didn't send me no money. This is, like I said, the internet's not a real world, man. It's not a real place.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. So I'm glad you said that because that's
Right.
exactly what that is. Right now, I can't follow. I don't know. I don't care about Drizzy, Drizzy, drop, drop, tizzy, tizzy,
Right. But I'm
shitty,
saying,
shitty,
look, if y'all
bang,
watch it,
bang,
it's
shitty, whatever.
hilarious, though. It is hilarious. It's
Is it though?
hilarious. Huh?
Is it though? Is it though?
It is.
We're talking about framing a woman or a man a certain way based on gender roles because somebody's talking about Drizzy, Drizzy.
When they're
In
saying
my opinion,
drizzle, they're saying drizzle, drizzle because
drizzle,
they're
drizzle. Excuse me. Make sure I get this
basically
shit right. Which I
right.
have no
You
problem
get
with.
it
They can say
right.
what the
It's
hell they
drizzle.
want to say. I'm open for whatever the hell they want to say. But I don't give a shit if they drizzle, drizzle, drippy, drippy, drizzy, drizzy. We should not be framing, in my opinion, an individual based on what the hell some other chick, some other dude, sexuality. I don't care. If a woman wants to pump her own fucking gas, pump it. You want to change a tire, change a damn tire. If you want to wash dishes, wash dishes. You want to change, I don't care, in my opinion. Again, you have a gender role that you stick to. I don't. I don't care. I don't care. I'm
I
open
mean,
to whatever,
hey,
dog. You do what you want to do. I'm do what I want to do,
that's
and
what
leave
makes
me
the
to fuck
world go
me.
round.
That's just
And
what it is.
and see, my
Excuse
whole
my language.
point.
I'm getting,
No, what you're saying is very valid. That is what makes the world go round. That's the difference
well,
between people staying together and separating
look, dog, I'll
because
say
they
this too.
don't.
I've only dated a handful of women. Okay, I'm not, I've only been with a handful. But I can tell you this: the handful of women I've been with, they all are independent. That's why I was telling you, I don't know any woman, even in my life, family. I can't think of any woman in my life who, when I say woman in my life, I don't mean sexual. I just mean in my life, period, who won't change her own fucking tire, who won't pump her own gas, pay her own bills. That's just me. We have a different lifestyle. We grew up differently. You know, I told you this last time we were live about my mom, scraping the ice off her car, getting her shit started, boom, 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 getting everything. So we talked about
But
different
she did it
households.
because she was single.
I was
I
there,
mean,
dog. What you talking about? I
I
got
mean,
told step back.
that's fine. You were a kid.
Dude, I was a grown teenager, bro. And even in my 20s, I guess even all right.
So why? Okay, so let me ask
I'm
you.
gonna
So
let you
why did you try to do it then?
not because I wanted to do it myself. Because
Why?
that's an
No, why
ego
did you
thing.
want? Why did you go do it?
Because I wanted to, all right,
In
man.
you,
But hold on, but we're talking about cars.
something in you
I
said,
didn't
"My
run.
mom
I
shouldn't
didn't
be
run. I
doing
didn't
this.
run in
I
front of him
should be doing
saying, "Let me do the dishes." I
it." Huh?
hate that shit. I love cars. So I said, let me get in there and get that. I love cars. So if you're asking me why I
You
did
don't
it,
want to
because
wash dishes. Why don't you want to wash dishes, Billy?
I hate this shit. Because the
Okay.
counter's too damn short. I'm too tall. I have to bend over. My back hurts because my stomach's too damn big. If you want to know the truth, shit. The reason why I wanted to get in there and do the tire, pump the gas, because I like cars.
Let me say this
Cars
though.
were more important to me than anything when I was young. So look, we if you're gonna come at me and say, well, why'd you want to do that? It's not, you're not gonna catch me in some, oh, he was being a man. No, get the hell out of the way. I want to do it because it's a car. I ain't jumping away for dishes. I ain't jumping away for groceries. I ain't jumping none of that other shit. Okay.
You know,
It was
Liking cars is a real manly thing.
Why is that?
Just is.
I know 2 females right now off the top of my head right now that
That's
like
2.
cars more than I do, bought more cars than me, into
I'm not
cars.
They do. There's women that race and everything, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with any of that. All I'm saying is that that's a masculine thing to like cars.
You think so?
Absolutely. I mean, from the standpoint
I
of what you
don't know.
like, tinkering and all of that, most
You're
women
saying
don't
I'm
wanna do that
masculine.
because they got their nails pretty. They don't wanna
Well,
do
who
that.
the hell see, okay, again, none of the women that I've ever dealt with have their nails done, bro.
You're
Not
dealing
one.
Dude,
Not
you're dealing
one. I
with
swear to
hybrid.
God on my life, not one.
I love women
If
with
you
nails,
didn't find
with
out
beautiful
one,
nails. That's who I like. I like women with beautiful
yeah, hey,
nails.
well, then that's what you like.
Right,
I
that's
don't
not
that's
what
I'm
I'm
more into
saying
the,
is
chill, do your thing. Don't worry about it. If
that's
you wanna do it, do it.
what makes the world go round.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On that note, man, we've been on for an hour.
We have been. And this has been a very spirited
It
debate.
has, always. It always is.
No, it's been more so spirited tonight, I think so.
Yeah, than usual,
Mhm.
than usual. Yeah. And I'm sure you and I will discuss this more in depth later.
We absolutely will. I hope,
Absolutely.
I hope you
Yeah.
guys enjoyed.
Yeah. Thank you
Um,
very much for following along.
we
We
couldn't I couldn't see, like, maybe I wasn't in the chat. Were you in the chat?
No, no, I wasn't, no.
Oh,
Somebody hit you with the down as soon as you made a I would love for that
I don't
individual to
see it
come
though.
back and just comment.
They didn't
You know, you
send a
can't
comment
see their
because I would've responded.
you can't see them when once they're done. You can only see it in the moment. So, I would
Well, I
love for that
looked. I'm
individual.
sitting here looking at it. I didn't see it. I see
No,
a heart. Oh, is there Oh, that's a okay,
no,
gotcha.
what I'm telling you is so thumbs down, you can't see it all in the videos.
Oh,
Like
I
when you
got
go
you.
look at people.
Right,
So
right.
what I'm saying is when that happened, I would wish that person would have done that or segued over to the little comment section and put down
Right.
what they were thinking right then and there.
Mhm.
So we would know where
True.
we're at and what and people are feeling and understanding and
Yeah,
whatever. So,
totally. Yeah.
all right, man. Well, I the back and forth was the banter was I guess enjoyable to a point. We're definitely not going to agree on this topic. Uh, but again, it's not about agreeing, it's about what you like. And at the end of the day, I guess, what Big I feel like what Big is getting at is social media as far as the minority voice posting stuff about, a man has to be a certain height, has to look a certain way, drive a certain car, live in a certain house, live by a certain location, all those things, you know, don't get bought into the hype. And if you're a male, I'm assuming, am I correct so far, Big, on everything?
You say whatever
You
you
know?
like, Billy.
No, no, I'm saying what the nutshell was of
The
this
nutshell, right, right, right. It was something like
not
that.
the
That's
the non-silent minority. So yeah, put that backwards.
close.
So, anyways, just make sure you're careful who you listen to and what you watch. Have your own opinion. Form your own opinion. He likes one thing. I don't care. I'm more of a whatever nonchalant. If you're that way, be you, and it's okay to be you. But also, I would encourage me personally to speak to your partner, your friend, whoever you meet in the beginning, based on looks or whatever it is may be. Jump off the jump. You tell an individual how you are. Don't come with that shit later. In my opinion,
Yeah,
come with it
I
off the
agree.
jump. That way,
Don't come I wouldn't
we
say don't come
we
later.
nip this in the bud right now. We nip it in the bud right now. Well, I got to get my nails done. Well, shit, I don't really care. So, whatever. I don't care if you do or not. Some men may care if you do. Some men, like Big said, he likes a woman with his nails done a certain way. So make sure you nip that in the bud. You start be open and talk about topics, not about just sex and all this other stuff. You got to talk. Got to talk.
Gotta talk.
Got to be outspoken, man.
You gotta be
So,
outspoken. That's one key thing that needs to be clear. Um, the problem in most relationships is communication. It breaks down somewhere and it needs to be addressed. Don't be afraid when you met the person, you're talking and lovey-dovey and all of that. You got to continue that to continue the relationship. And in order to do that, you got to do the same thing that we do over here every week.
yeah,
We are
absolutely.
the outspoken ones.
Outspoken ones, man.
And
All right.
appreciate y'all being on the journey.
Appreciate it. Remember, every Sunday 8 p.m. We'll be live. We'll have a topic posted. We'll get into something. If you got a suggestion, something you want to talk about, post in the comments. You can email us. Our email's down there down in the section below in the description. Let us know what you think. Uh, Make sure you give us a follow and a like if you can, so we can get broadcast a little further. But we're always open to everything. Nothing's off the table, and we talk about whatever.
That's
And
right.
as you can see, we don't always agree, and we're not going to. We've been around each other for 25 years, and it's just the way life rolls, man.
Just the
That's
way it is.
that's real life. It's just the way it's going to be.
Yep.
So, all right, big. Well, you have a good evening, man.
All right, brother. You too, man. Y'all have
Take
a
care,
good
man.
one. Thanks
All right,
for watching.
all right, later.